You're listening to the Magnetic Boss Podcast, where badass entrepreneurs come together to share authentic conversations. We're ditching the cookie-cutter approach to building a business and valuing collaboration over competition. I'm your host, Calandra Martin, boy mom, coffee-obsessed coach, speaker, and leader. I help women radiate their brilliance in the online space and create magnetic brands. We are here to have fun, do work we love, and enjoy the ride. Now let's dive in. Welcome back to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. I am coming to you today with an episode around building your website. And we covered the topic of websites in episode number 7, but I really want to shift your focus away from the tangible and the strategy behind having a website and really redirect you to looking at your mindset around your website. So this is going to be an episode for those of you that either have a website, but you're feeling like you're not in love with it, or you're on the edge of making the commitment, making the investment, and going all in with a website for your business. So I want to speak to both of these positions that you might be in your business. And I also just want to share with you kind of my story and process around website creation. So as a brand strategist and a designer, somebody who designs websites for a living, I think that it's important to shine a light on the reality of how simple this can be, how effortless this can be, and also some of the roadblocks that we all face when it comes to making any sort of business investment. So let's just start here. A little bit of storytelling. So in the beginning of my business, and if you're not familiar with my story, I started out in network marketing about 3.5 years ago as a coach, a health coach. And I didn't have a website at that point. I was using the company's website to share the products, and everything was built for me. I didn't have to do any of the heavy lifting. All I had to do was show up and serve and talk to people, which was amazing, right? If you've been in network marketing, you know how helpful it is to just have your own unique URL and to send that out to people. But when I left my network marketing company and shifted into an independent coaching business, I did not know where to start. I had my social media platforms, and the process at the time for me working with clients was to get on a call with them initially to, discover whether or not we were a good fit to work together. And so what I noticed right off the bat was that I had 2 decisions that I could choose between. And the first one was to just piece everything together, to have a scheduling link and to have all of these different platforms that I was using to try to piece together a way for people to pay me and a way for people to get on the call with me and a way for them to get the access to the call itself and all of the moving pieces, right? And if you are in the coaching industry, you know that there are 10 extra steps behind the single action of getting on a call with a client. So that was the first choice, was to piece it together, to try to make it work. Or I could bite the bullet and invest in a website. And at the time, I was life coaching. I was focusing on coaching moms with time management and running a business, because at that point in my journey, I was a brand new mama balancing having a newborn at home 24/7 and also trying to make the online entrepreneurial space work for me. And there was a lot of lessons that I had to share in that. And so what I recognized for myself in my business was that I was ready to go all in. I was ready to make that commitment of having a really easy place to send people. Because like I said, I was so used to having a network marketing company where the website aspect was done for me. I didn't have to think about it. So I wanted a place where I could easily send people to give them all of the information that they needed. And I wanted it to look professional. I wanted it to really help me stand out, because something that I recognized right away in the online space before I was even in coaching around branding was that your brand, your presence, the way that you represent yourself is really, really important in building and gaining trust with your audience. So I wanted to position myself strategically with a website that did the work for me to make it easier, right? I want things in my life and my business to be easy. That is one of my core values, is to have simplicity and ease. And I wanted to have that professional presence. So for me, even though there was an investment to make, right, in time, because I didn't have the funds at the time to hire a designer, in time and also just in energy and money spent on a website, because the truth is that websites are not free. And something that a lot of people come to me with is, what is the best free option? And you can certainly build a website for free on a lot of different platforms. There's Wix, there's the free version of WordPress. But I don't recommend that, and here's why. I went through that process. In the beginning of my building a website for my business journey, I started out on Wix and I built my free website. And about a month or two later, I realized that it was not performing the way that I wanted it to. And it was also really hard to navigate. The user experience was not great because I got lost in the dark hole of design. And if you are DIYing, if you're doing it yourself, building your website solo, it can be really easy to get stuck in this creation spiral where you are designing and redesigning and adding new things in, and then all of a sudden you look back and your website is just this clusterfuck, for lack of a better term, that is not easy to navigate and does not send your audience on a really clear path when they're landing on your website. So that's exactly what I did, right? I went through the easy route, quote unquote easy route, with designing a free website. And just a few months later, I decided to move my website from Wix to WordPress, because WordPress, I very quickly learned, is kind of the Mac Daddy of websites. It is where you can have all of the bells and whistles and really grow into your website. You can start off simple and add so much. I am a huge fan of WordPress websites. I design them, and I recommend that platform very strongly. But here's the catch. I started that platform, that website, with the free version. And there were a lot of limitations to designing the site the way that I wanted it to look. Because like I said before, I really wanted it to be professional, easy to use, and just really pleasant on the eye, right? I don't know if you've experienced this before, but sometimes you land on websites and you're like, what the actual fuck was this person thinking? And it's really easy to get yourself in that position with design if you are trying to cut corners and do things yourself when you're not really confident in your design skills. So I built that first website on WordPress and realized very quickly that I was going to have to make a little bit of an investment in my business. And so here's where I want to talk about money mindset, about your beliefs around your business, and the way that you are approaching making really important investments. So you probably know just as well as the next person that having a website for your business is in the end goal, right? When you look at the big vision that you have, when you look at the big influencers that you might compare yourself to, or companies in your industry, they all have websites. And you know that a website is important to have, right? That is pretty common knowledge. But behind the scenes, behind the veil of what you see on Instagram and Facebook, is the work and the commitment that happens behind the scenes. So I realized really quickly for me that I had to make that investment in a paid website. So this was a couple $100s, and these plans are always changing on different platforms. So generally speaking, you're looking at a couple $100s, whether you're on WordPress or Squarespace, and this is per year. So going back in time, when I look at when I made this investment in my website, I was making goose egg dollars in my business. I was very new in the online space. I had a whole lot of learning to do, and I was not making a whole lot of money. Now, I was making a little bit, but it was not enough to have the capital to invest back into my business. So at the time, the $200-$300 that I invested in my website felt like a lot of money. It was really, really uncomfortable to make the decision to invest in that website. I was definitely like so resistant to it. So resistant to it. But what I recognized, and what I want you to start looking at if you're in a place where you're ready, you think you're ready to invest in a website, but you're feeling that hesitation, is that in the long term, in the big picture, that website, having that professional website, was going to give me a huge return on investment. Because, like I said before, it does the work for me. It tells my audience exactly who I am. It lays out my services in a really clear and concise way because it's designed intentionally. That's another topic for another day. And it's always there. It is always on. So when I unplug from social media, when I want to take a vacation or take an extended break, there are still ways for people to find me and discover my business and learn more about me. Right? So we have Google that your website comes up on when people are searching. And if you are focused on the SEO of your website, it's going to really benefit the way that you show up in those search engines. There's also things like Pinterest, where I have now in my business pins that are evergreen, that last forever, that lead back to my website. People can find them anytime, 24/7. And then there's also the social media platforms where I am sharing the link to my website quite frequently. So even when I am not plugged into my business and actively marketing, it is still doing the work for me. It is still leading people to the sale. It is still getting them on those initial calls with me. And it's also simultaneously building up my brand presence in a way that is captivating, because my branding is very cohesive and clear on my website. So when I looked at that investment and made the investment on the couple hundred dollars for the platform, I recognized that my return on investment was going to be much more significant than the money that I was actually spending on the website itself. And this is also true if you are hiring somebody to do your website, right? Now we are talking a couple $100 plus a couple $1,000, depending on who you hire and who you work with. So the benefit of that is the return on investment for your website, amazing, right? You have this platform now that's working for you 24/7. And you don't have to spend your time and energy actually creating the website, actually doing the design. And I hear this from my clients all of the time. And this might be you, right? Where the idea of having to design the site, actually go in and make it look good, is completely daunting, right? It might be paralyzing because you don't know where to start or you don't know how to do it. The tech scares you. And what I see a lot of people doing with a website is getting hung up on the mindset here. So it's the mindset of the investment, right? We have to overcome those objections that we have for ourselves and the resistance that we meet. And we also have to recognize where we are not capable or qualified or even making logical decisions around how we're spending our time. So if you are not somebody who is confident in design, if you're not somebody who wants to spend a ton of time on design, then you also have to look at the investment that you will make when you invest in a designer for your website. So depending on where you're at, there's a different cost here. There's a different commitment that you have to make. So what I encourage you to do, if you are in a position where you are deciding if you need a website for your business or not, the first thing that I will say is that you absolutely need a website. Hands down, end of the day, you will eventually need a website for your business. And you get to decide how quickly you're raising the bar for your business. There are absolutely entrepreneurs out there that make money and don't have a website. It's true, right? I am not somebody who believes that you have to, quote unquote, spend money to make money. There are definitely times in your business where you can cut some corners, right? You can invest in lower cost platforms, in the free version of things in order to get done what you need to get done. But at the end of the day, like I said before, when you're looking at the big picture of your business and the future goals that you have, chances are a website is going to be one of the things that you need. And you get to decide if you're ready to go all in. So I like to think of this. I always think of when my family used to visit every fall. So around September here in Maine, it gets quite cold, but that was the month growing up where my family from out of state would come visit, and we would rent a family camp on the lake. And every September we would go down to the dock and some of us would swim. And it's really cold in Maine in September. The water is less than 50 degrees, super, super cold. And with that, we made the decision to either go all in or not go in at all. So if you're getting in a cold body of water, dipping your toe in and slowly easing into the water, taking a few steps at a time, that can be really uncomfortable for a long period of time, right? If you are slowly wading into the cold water, you're going to feel that rising up on your body every step of the way. Uncomfortable, uncomfortable, uncomfortable. And I have goosebumps just thinking about this. Or the alternative is to just jump in, to dive in. And when you do that, your body quickly acclimates to that new level of discomfort. And I like to think of your website as the same type of decision that you have to make in your business. You either dabble for a really long time and kind of stunt your growth and make the process much longer, or you dive right in and you get it done and you level up so much faster. So when I look back on my website journey of platform to platform and just, the evolution in the design, I am now on Squarespace, which I absolutely adore. I also design websites on Squarespace. When I look at each step in my evolution, with my website in particular, I am so grateful that I bit the bullet very early on in my entrepreneurial journey, because what I see on the flip side of this with a lot of my clients that come to me nearly in tears because they just can't deal with their website anymore or the idea of having a website is that they've held themselves back for so long. And I don't want you to hold yourself back just because of an investment making you nervous. Because with a lot of things in our business, in our personal development and growth, when we decide that we're ready to level up, the universe catches up, right? When we make a commitment and go all in, the same thing is true with, filing for an LLC or an S Corp or whatever it is for your business and getting the legal in place. The same thing is true for having contracts and really affirming to yourself and affirming to the universe that you are committed then you are presented with more opportunities, because what is happening is you are getting your energy behind your belief. And when you have that energy behind your belief and you take the action, the universe shows up for you. And I know that sounds a little woo-woo, but it's so true. And I've seen it happen time and time again. So when I look back on my personal journey, I am grateful that I took the plunge and made that investment early on. And if you are in a position where you are wanting to design a website, or you're wanting to hire somebody to design your website or fix it, maybe you've been dabbling for years and you're like, okay, enough is enough, time to get real and serious about this journey, then I encourage you to check yourself, to recognize where you're at, how you're feeling about this, and then take the action that feels aligned for you. So I'm not telling you right now to go invest in a website, put it on a credit card, and put yourself in massive debt. I am not telling you that you should feel guilty or shameful around not having a website. But what I am telling you is that you will know when you are aware, when you are setting the intention to be aware, you will know when it is time to level up. And we're talking about websites today, but this is true for just about anything else in your life and business. You will know, your intuition will tell you, excuse me, ma'am, it is time for you to level up, right? It is time for you to do more. It is time for you to take that leap. So if you are feeling that right now, recognize that, and then go take action on it. Go take that first step. Maybe it is going and buying the business plan version of WordPress, or it's going over to Squarespace and creating an account and just seeing what that looks like. Or it's reaching out to somebody like myself who is a designer to help you along the way. So determine what your action is, and I want to hear from you. So inside the Magnetic Boss Collective, our free Facebook community, we are having conversations just like this one. And I want you to come and share with us how you feel about your website. This can be on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident you feel in it, or how confident you feel in making the decision to get one in the first place. So I want to hear from you. Go join the Facebook group. The link is in the show notes. And I'm going to share with you in the next couple of episodes how to take action and really align your mindset and your decision making with the strategy so that you can make this process easier for yourself and easier for whoever it is that you might work with. Okay? Until next time, I'm sending you so much love, and I will talk to you very soon.